Hi everyone. Before we get into our practice today, let's take a few moments to set our intentions and to bring our mind and body into our yoga experience. Let's take our hands together, fingertips and thumbs, and rest our thumbs against our sternum. Take a moment to spread out through your toes, to lengthen through the crown of the head, and just allow the shoulders to gracefully drape over the top of your upper back. Let's take a moment to close our eyes gently, to soften our jawlines, to soften our foreheads, and just begin to turn our attention inward to our own bodies and our own minds. And as we find this place of connection, let's remind ourselves to let go of any expectation, any self-judgment, and any competition, and set ourselves on a journey of exploration to nurture our self-confidence and to cultivate an environment that makes us feel a little bit more at peace and maybe a little bit more self-confident. So as we close our eyes, let's begin to inhale through our nose, exhaling all the air out, taking the time to breathe at our own perfect pace, allowing our breath to represent the colours, the texture, and the flavour of our practice ahead. Let's take 2 more deep breaths together. And our last one. Gently opening our eyes and preparing ourselves for practice. So now let's turn our attention to poses on the floor. So these poses are designed to help develop strength through our postural muscles, as well as stretching and release and flexibility through all of our key core muscles in the center of our body. So let's make our way down. Taking our hands wide and just walking our knees back, bringing ourselves onto the mat. Taking our hands by the side of our body, palms up, and keeping our eye gaze directly on the floor. Reaching through our toes, lengthening through the crown of our head, drawing our shoulder blades together. Our first pose is locust pose. So activating the muscles all along through our legs, pressing our hips down into the floor, drawing our belly button up away from the floor, shoulder blades together, reaching through the crown of our head, inhaling as we lift our upper body and reach our fingers long. Now, if we're taking care of our back, our shoulders, or we're just finding this pose challenging today, we can take our hands down, or perhaps we can just lower closer to our mat. If we're looking for more work, then activating our inner thighs and lifting our legs off the floor, reaching towards the front of our mat. Engaging our inner thighs, squeezing from the bottom all the way to the top of our body. Let's exhale, release down, and just take our cheekbone to the mat for a moment. Taking the time to rest and reset. As we bring our eyes up, setting up for bow pose. Taking our left forearm parallel with the top of our mats, fingers spread and elbow in line with shoulder. Flexing our right heel, drawing our heel in toward our body, and taking our right hand to the outside of our right ankle. Pressing our forearm into the floor, pressing our hips down, and pressing our foot away, drawing our hand in, lifting into bow. Creating a long stretch through the front of our body and a strong activation of muscles along our back, shoulders, and inner thighs. Now, if we're taking care of our back, we might choose to stay lower to the floor or we may choose to take our hand completely away. If we want more challenge, releasing our opposite heel, taking both hands and connecting to both ankles, flexing our heels to the ceiling, pressing our heels into our hands, hands into heels, drawing our shoulder blades together, pressing our hips down, and then lifting our upper body gently off the floor. Closing our inner thighs inward and activating from the base of our body. Inhaling as we lift our eye gaze, keeping our neck soft and tension away from our face to full bow pose. Taking one more deep breath and exhaling, releasing down. Letting go of both of our legs and taking our opposite cheek to the floor. Giving ourselves an opportunity to rest, reset, before we move on.